Hi guys, today is the 4th of December 2020. It's 4 minutes past 8 in the evening over here in the UK. By now, you know what this channel's about, so I shouldn't have to explain very much. But for those of you who don't know, this is more of an interpretation channel, so I have no facts on these interpretations that I bring. And they're from this video, which is a cartoon, but we feel that it has subliminal messaging. And if you do feel that you want to watch the whole video for yourself, it's called iPic Goat 2. I'd recommend watching it without the sound um, initially, as the sound has low-level chanting in it, of which we still aren't exactly sure of what it's saying. It's very well blended, so I'd be careful on what you're allowing to be put into your mind without actually knowing what's going on. So with that said, I just want to focus on three things. I want to focus on Donald Trump and a potential health issue that may come up in the next couple of days. I want to talk about December the 10th December the 10th, no, December the 11th, sorry, for a potential tsunami event, I guess, or some other wave-like event. And I also want to talk about December 15th and see how we go there. All right, so very quickly, I'm going to try and do this. First of all, Donald Trump's health condition. What I think we may hear about in the next couple of days is the potential for an aneurysm with Donald Trump. An aneurysm is basically a blockage, well, a swelling in the veins of the brain, and it basically causes pressure to build. It can be a very serious condition, and one of the more serious things is if the aneurysm ruptures. So obviously that's not a good thing. That'll be the vein wall or the artery wall bursting open, and obviously that would allow internal bleeding on the brain. Obviously those things are not good. One of the signs of an aneurysm, or a ruptured aneurysm rather, is a sudden agonizing headache. It's been described as a thunderclap headache. So when I read that and I saw the brain image that we've got on the background in the wall here, that's split in half with the thunderbolt going through it, or the lightning bolt going through it, it made me think of that particular instant, that particular thing happening where the aneurysm ruptures and you get this thunderclap headache. I believe that that connects me to the image on the Bush character's face, which I also think is Donald Trump, right before he goes into this part, I believe. Going back a bit further, just a bit further. Have I passed it already? I haven't watched this video for a very long time, so I'm not as, there we go. So at this point here, where his eyes go blank and he leans forward, and I've hypothesized that this drawing behind his head is like a gun pointing in his head. So I still have the shooting theory, but now with this lightning bolt going through the brain, I also have this theory of a ruptured aneurysm causing some sort of blinding headache, and obviously he'd have to be rushed into hospital. Now, a couple of the symptoms of an unruptured aneurysm, so if Donald Trump currently has an unruptured aneurysm, or at least makes it look like he has one, and then goes on to have a ruptured aneurysm, that may be developing from some of the symptoms that we may be able to connect with the things that we see with Donald Trump when we see him on TV and stuff like that. So symptoms of an unruptured brain aneurysm can include visual disturbances such as loss of vision or double vision, pain above or around the eye. Now, I haven't really heard anything about Donald Trump having vision problems or, pain around his eyes. But when I did a little bit of research, I found a report from April 2020, this year, saying that Donald Trump told a West Virginia optometrist visiting the White House for a small business event that he may need the man to treat his eyes. So he said, "I may need to see you, doctor," the president told Chris Stanbury, whom the White House identified as the co-founder of West Virginia Eye Consultants. Mr. Trump assured Mr. Stansbury, who wore a white laboratory coat as he praised the president for signing two massive coronavirus relief bills that contained billions in monies for loans to small businesses to deal with the COVID-19 outbreak. The president did not disclose any ailment or vision problem he might be experiencing, however. So it could be that Donald Trump was just, being Donald Trump. Oh, I might need to see you, doc. But he doesn't say that to every doctor. And particularly this is an optometrist. And where my theory that he may have an unruptured brain aneurysm that could progress to a ruptured brain aneurysm, that's just one of the possible symptoms that he could be experiencing. Vision disturbances or pain around the eye. Maybe that's why he wants to speak to the optometrist. There's also numbness or weakness on one side of the face. I haven't really seen that, so I'll put that to one side. Difficulty speaking, I have seen, and I think we're all very aware of the particular speech. Some blamed his dentures, the White House blamed the dry throat. Either way, we heard Donald Trump slurring his speech in this particular address. So I'm just going to play a little bit of it.
Today, let us
Oh, yes.
rededicate ourselves. God bless you. God bless Israel. God bless the Palestinians, and God bless the United States. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So clearly, you can hear the slurring of the speech there. And one thing for me is he could say the word Palestinians and Israel, but he couldn't say United States. And obviously, there's a lot of play on the mouth when you're saying United States. Even, I can slur it myself purposefully if I want to, United States. And it sounded more purposeful to me, like he was purposefully slurring his words. Maybe he just wanted some attention. I don't know. Maybe there was a news story that was coming out and this would, take over the news cycle. Donald Trump slurring his speech, which it did. However, it is another symptom of a potential unruptured brain aneurysm. And then there's the headaches. I don't know. I've heard stories about his ex-wife, Ivana Trump, talking about him having major headaches, and it was in association with a scalp reduction surgery he had to cover up a bald spot. Now, I don't know if he actually had scalp reduction surgery or whether that was another type of surgery that needed to go into his brain, potentially looking at an aneurysm, for example. You can cover up all sorts of brain operations around your mental health with something like a scalp reduction surgery. Um, it's much easier to get a hair transplant than to cut your scalp open and stitch it back together so that your bald spots are covered. So that's a potential. I have no actual news reports on headaches with Donald Trump. If he did have headaches, I'm sure that would be covered up. But it's a potential with the old stories from his ex-wife. And then there's a loss of balance. Now, the loss of balance is something that we have seen with Donald Trump. Um, Obviously, there was the incident where he was coming up on stage and he lost his balance, but that could just be down to a casual stumble. We tried to style it out afterwards. You see the stumble just there. It's a small stumble, could have missed a step, caught himself. It's fine. But then there's this one where he was at the Memorial Day, the unknown soldier's grave, and you can see for a number of minutes while he's standing there, he's swaying backwards and forwards, and it's only emphasized even more because he's standing next to, I believe that's Mark Esper, I think, the defense secretary. He's no longer the defense secretary, and Mike Pence, obviously the vice president. And if you even just focus on his legs, the shaking, the quivering, he's trying his best to lock his legs to keep himself on balance, and you can see the tipping on the toes when he kind of goes up on his tiptoes there. That's a mark of someone who's losing their balance, falling forwards, and they're using their toes to steady themselves. So you can see there he's constantly coming up on his toes and rocking back and forth, and it's a balance issue. Now you could say maybe because he's overweight, maybe his belly is pulling him forward. That would be a funny way to look at it. But in my view, there's something more going on here with his balance and his inability to stop himself from swaying forwards and backwards to keep himself on the center point. You can see it's very easy for. I mean, Mark Esper is doing it a little bit. He just did it just there, but you can see Mike Pence, Mark Esper, the soldier standing there. They're pretty much in a straight line standing, and we have Mr. Trump, President Trump, swaying back and forward like a flag in the breeze. So I think with those three, and obviously there's difficulty concentrating or problems with short-term memory. There's a lot of stories coming out of the White House from former employees that have said he doesn't have the ability to concentrate on one specific topic for a long amount of time, which is why there's the problems about him reading his briefings, and also the issue of him watching so much TV. Television is an easier medium to intake for someone who has difficulty concentrating on, say, for example, someone speaking in a monotone way, for example, like the way I am, or without any sort of diagrams or pictures. It just becomes very boring and your attention wanders. So there's potentially 4 symptoms of an unruptured brain aneurysm which Donald Trump could be experiencing, and that could be very well related to what we see happening with Donald Trump or the Bush character representing Donald Trump in this video, and also with the brain split in half of a thunderbolt. Again, one of the symptoms of that ruptured brain aneurysm is a headache, which is like a thunderclap. When this could potentially happen, I go to the eyebrow to see that date a little bit closer up, as I believe it is a date. Now I'm looking at this and I'm seeing the number 5 is very clear to me in here, and it could also be the number 2. That still brings me to December 25th. There could be an event with Donald Trump, Christmas Day. But right now, I'm thinking the aneurysm event could be taking place on December 15th. Now we've got the 7 backwards here, which could also be an upside down L. I'm looking at that L as the 12th letter of the alphabet, giving me the reference to the 12th month of the calendar. And then we've got the potential for a 1 mark here, and as I said, the very clear 5 in the middle here. So December 15th, keep an eye out there. But obviously, I'm not just taking it from the eyebrow and saying December 15th, let's have a look at that. There's also the other representation of a character with a head wound, and again, the potential for the number 15 just behind the head of this character, who happens to be the 12th blue character in the line. So 1215, you've got another reference there potentially, and one more when we come to the Middle East and we see the explosions taking place. There's 1 plane in front, 2 planes behind. The front leading plane fires 1 missile, which results in 5 missiles or 5 fireworks. You put them all together, you've got the 1, 2, 1, 5 reference again, 1215. So just keeping an eye out, and again, obviously, if you can see here that this structure, which is a submarine coming up out of the waves, the top part of it is also made up of a face, where the nose is here, the mouth is here, the closed eye is looking upwards, and the explosion is coming out the back of the head. Now again, I've often connected that to a shooting incident with Donald Trump, but it could be this brain aneurysm situation that actually takes place, taking him out of the picture for some time. Obviously, with the care available to presidents, it's likely that he will survive such an incident, but you know, that's December 15th. If he does, come back a couple of days afterwards, his behavior and character could be completely changed due to, the changes that have taken place inside the brain, and we don't know what could end up happening then. Obviously, then there could be even more chance for these situations with Iran and with China and with North Korea and all the other situations we've talked about. So that's 1215, and that's the aneurysm with Donald Trump. The only other thing that I wanted to talk to you about today, and I'll do it very quickly, is the tsunami, the potential event for the tsunami. Now, the number 10 in this video I'm looking at now, because October has passed, that's the last 10 reference it can be, which is on the Roman calendar. So that's this month, December. The 10th month on the Roman calendar is December. So I'm just saying that we see the potential for the number 10 over here, and the potential for the number 11 over here, with the tsunami wave, the apple representing New York, the fracture, potential earthquake, all of that stuff going on. When we come to the end of the video, we see the same thing in a different format, where we have the 10 and the 11 potentially giving us December the 11th. And then we have the tsunami wave in the background and the crumbling church. representing that earthquake, and we see when the Antichrist figure comes out of the cave itself, there is a large shaking, um, which shows that there's some sort of seismic activity going on. You can see the rocks crashing in the background. So that's something to look out for on December 11th, sorry. But also keeping those numbers in mind, I would also urge people to watch out for the same sort of events um, around January the 2nd, or even January the 11th, or potentially January the 21st. I only am looking at up to January the 20th and 21st because that's when Donald Trump's supposed to leave office. If he doesn't, then obviously these things can continue. If he doesn't, my goodness, I'm sorry, America, but that would really be the beginning of the end for you guys. I wouldn't see a potential for civil war not kicking off, and for martial law not being instituted, and for quarantines and for lockdowns. Those things are happening already, but there'd be even more of it. You'd have militia on the streets, Proud Boys and Antifa, and it would be an absolute nightmare. And I would say that if any time in the Bible would be referencing the, come out of her, my children, part of it, I believe around that time would be the time to leave the United States if you can, or seek shelter in any predestined places that you've booked for yourselves. Because if Trump does stay, and it just turns into this whole clash of the Titans, basically, I wouldn't want to really be in the middle of it. Rather be somewhere else. So yeah, tsunami, earthquake, New York. Obviously, there's the other areas like Hawaii and Italy, around Europe, like the United Kingdom as well, to look out for. December the 11th, that would be a sequel to 9/11, if we're using the Roman calendar, 10/11. So that could be another potential consequence of having these events on December the 11th, a 9/11 sequel. But if not, you still have those same numbers, which lead you to January the 2nd, or January the 11th, or even January the 21st, which I put to the very far end of my interpretations. But those three, December the 11th, January the 2nd, and January the 11th, would be the potential dates left to watch out for these events if Donald Trump goes. The only reason I say if Donald Trump goes is because I have a sneaky suspicion I've interpreted this scene before as the blue people representing Democrats, and everything seeming to be going their way for some time. All these characters appear to be in like waiting positions, hands on the chin, and it's like watching TV or something. But then, as we know, everything kind of turns red, and obviously red is the color of Republicans. And then we also see the worried look on Obama's face, and we know that there's the word Donald encoded in the Psalm 23, and that 23 could be a reference to the year 2023, which again, if Donald Trump stays, that means he would stay until at least 2023. And in 2024, a new president will come in, and you also have the flag ripped almost in half. So it's like either the Republicans or the Democrats have gone off somewhere, and you've only got half of the country. All of that could potentially happen. It all comes really down to the Electoral College, which the Trump administration is trying hard to persuade to vote for Trump rather than Biden, and it's possible that it could work. The Electoral College is due to meet on December 14th, so that would be the day before December 15th. So maybe the aneurysm is related to Donald Trump not, being certified as president, and Joe Biden being certified as president. But again, it could be that Donald Trump is certified as president and then gets shot the next day. Those two events with Donald Trump, they both correspond with the number 15. I just don't know if we're looking at an aneurysm or a shooting. One of these events is what I'm interpreting for Donald Trump. Also, just for a little bit of clarification or a little bit of emphasis on this time period. December the 14th, there's going to be a solar eclipse. So if this is a representation of December the 15th with the 12th character and the 15 behind the head, then this could logically be interpreted as December the 14th, the day before. We have this circle around the eye, which we've always interpreted as an eclipse of some kind, whether lunar or solar. It really kind of doesn't matter. It's just a time marker. When I actually looked at which I haven't got up now, I'll just bring it up quickly. When I looked at the astronomy calendar for 2020 in December, that's when I realised that December the 14th is going to be a solar eclipse. So that could actually be a real world reference to what we've actually got taking place in the video. Also, there's the Gemini's meteor shower, so that's something else to look out for as well. Particularly if in the end of this video we're seeing a potential reference to, say, December the 11th, then we've also got meteors coming in after that. So December the 11th, tsunami some sort, and then December the 14th comes where we've got the Gemini's meteor shower. We suddenly have meteors coming in, and then we've also got the solar eclipse. And if you actually put this whole scene in negative, which I've done once before, this whole solar flare thing going on in the background over here actually turns into a solar eclipse. So, and then obviously there's the heliophone at the end, giving us that reference to an eclipse again. So, and also the O is number 15. The eclipse is coming kind of just before it, so again we could have that reference to 14. And just the last thing, because it's all coming up as I'm speaking, the fact that the I and the O could represent the number 10, and 10, as I said on the Roman calendar, is the month of December. So you could have the month of December in the middle with the I and the 0, or the I and the O giving us a reference to 1 and 0, and then the highlighted 0 or the O, which is the 15th of the alphabet, giving us a reference to the number 15. So, people, that's the end of my interpretations. I'm sorry it wasn't as smooth and cohesive. I really started off just wanting to do those three things, and then as I talk, more things come to my brain, and I feel that I should just say them while I've got the video running. I think it's long enough though, so you guys keep an eye out for the Tsunami events, Quake events on December the 11th, January the 2nd, and January the 11th. And keep an eye out for the Donald Trump aneurysm or shooting on December the 15th. I don't think there's any other dates that I really want to mention. But if not, December the 15th, keep an eye out for it on December the 25th, Christmas Day. You guys have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening. May the Heavenly Father bless you.